Okay, guys, today we are going to start our project that we're going to be using to assess the history standard with the 1920s, symbol, theme, and then we will reassess the discussion standards. So there's a lot of things that we are assessing with this project. In this video, I'm going to go through what the project is, what the different components are, and what you will need to do to be successful in it. So you are going to be embodying a historical figure from the 1920s or someone that relates to the content that we learned about the 1920s. You will take on their perspective and you will be meeting with other classmates who are also embodying historical figures. Together, you're going to be participating in a book club. So you're pretending that all of you have read The Great Gatsby as these historical figures, and you're going to talk about the book from that perspective, giving your unique insight based on whatever person you are choosing to be. So it should be pretty cool. We've spent some time, obviously, reading the book, talking about the book as yourselves. Now we want to pretend to look at the book through the lens of a 1920s person. So it should be, I think, hopefully, kind of a fun assessment. We'll see. So this will happen in two different phases. The first phase is going to be today and tomorrow as part of your digital days. This is when you're going to be preparing for that book club discussion. You'll be answering some questions about the book, about the themes and symbols, and the history content from the perspective of your person. These are the questions that we will talk about in the book club discussions. So you will want to be very thoughtful these next couple days, answering those questions fully and completely, and not just, doing it halfway, but really do this preparation. This is how we will assess the history standard. It is how we will assess the theme and symbol standards, and it's also how you'll get that preparation standard for discussion. So even if you already have that standard, if you don't do the preparation, then you'll lose that standard. So that's phase one. Phase two is the actual discussion. We will do that in person in class next week. You will be discussing the things that you wrote about in your preparation. And those discussions will be in the first person. So if you choose, for example, to be Al Capone, the famous bootlegger, then you will speak as Al Capone, saying, I think this about the book. I connect to this character in the book as Al Capone. And again, that discussion will happen in class where we will assess you on, of course, the discussion standards. So here in the assignment sheet, you will see what standards we're assessing. Should be no surprise, I've already said it, but this is here for you so you can see exactly what those standards are. In the assignment sheet, we have linked for you all of the resources and laid out everything that we've done in this unit that you should be using to do your preparation. Things are linked so you can go right to the readings and the videos and the resources that we used in class. We've got the unit slides linked. You should also obviously be using your journal entries and your ongoing conversations. So for your preparation today and tomorrow, first step is going to be to pick your historical figure. There are 6 different options. 3 of them are people who strongly relate to the suffrage movement. 3 of them are people more strongly related to the Prohibition movement. So you'll want to pick your person, and then you will write from their perspective. Some of these people we directly talked about, like Al Capone. Some of the other people, like Frances Willard, for example, we didn't really talk about her directly, but we did talk a lot about the Women's Christian Temperance Union during our Prohibition days. That's why I've got this description here to the right, so that if you don't really know who some of these people are, I tell you it should be pretty clear. Cool. Once you've picked your person, you will want to move on to the questions. They seem like a lot, but really what we're trying to do is give you lots of ideas of what to write about so that you've got lots of things to say for the discussion. If I were you, I would do the first question today, and then I would do the second and the third questions tomorrow to break up your time a little bit. The first question asks you whether or not your historical figure, you think that the Great Gatsby is a good representation of the era of the 1920s. This is pretty ambiguous. what do we mean by good? Some different ways that you can answer this. I would probably try to incorporate multiple of these bullet points into your answer. Is one, how accurate is the book to the 1920s? How does the book show or not show your values and your morals, you being your historical figure? And then what did you like about it? What would you change to make it maybe more reflective of your values? Second question says, what characters in the book do you relate to the most or do you empathize with? So who are your favorite characters? Again, you is your historical figure, not actually you. You want to consider like how your character, how your historical figure would have felt reading the different passages in the book. Where would they have been excited? Where would they have been sad, offended? What characters did they love? What characters did they hate? What characters had experiences that kind of mimic the life of your historical figure? And then the last question is where you really dig into the symbol and the themes. So you'll pick at least one symbol or motif to discuss, and then you will explain what theme that symbol is revealing about society and humanity. After you've done your little discussion about what the symbol and theme are, you'll want to answer some questions from your historical figure's perspective. What are their thoughts on that theme? Do they think that the lost generation, so the people of the 20s, is it a theme that they need to hear? Is it something they should learn from? Is it something that you yourself, again, your historical figure, needs to hear and can learn from? For this last question, because we know there's like a lot here to unpack, we've got a few sentence starters that you can use to help get you started. You don't have to use these, they're optional, but I think they're pretty helpful if you want to use them. Cool, so this assignment sheet and all of the links within it, this is posted on the daily agenda for today, so you can find it here. I kind of breezed through an overview of the project and what we're doing. If I were you, I would pull this up and read it through pretty closely. So reading through the description, the different phases, the standards, the different resources available to you, the figures, and then the different questions that you're going to have to answer. So yeah, pull this up. You'll want to get started working on the preparation, picking your figure and answering the questions. Again, when you come into class next week, we will be having the assess discussions, so you'll want to make sure that you get all of this prep work done over the next couple days. Cool. I hope all of that made sense. If it didn't, shoot me an email and I will answer any questions that you have. Bye.